Okay, let's look at this really quick. You guys want me to give me that? You guys want me to give my opinion on it?
I've decided to do something that some people might call radical, but I call it long overdue. And I'm going to ask for your help to do this. This is a huge undertaking, and so I need all the support I can get. I've never done anything like this before. I am going to petition the Congress of the United States of America to begin legislation and debate on banning the flying of the Confederate flag. Now, a lot of you are immediately going to argue that this is a freedom of speech issue, and I will debate you otherwise. I've put a link in the bio of my TikTok and my Instagram to a petition I created that will require as many signatures as I can get to take it before the Congress of the United States of America. In that petition, I have laid out my argument. Please help me. Share this video. Sign the petition. Tag large creators that you know. We need everybody on board. This has gone on long enough, and we must start taking steps towards the eradication of toxic traditions that founded this country. They must end now. I've decided...
Okay, that's fair. I understand why people want me to review this. Okay, so there's a few different things here. Let's talk about the first thing, freedom of speech. Like, yeah, it's a freedom of speech violation, right? It is. Like, whatever. We get it. You know, whatever. But let's like set that aside because that's not even my main point. Because I don't think that's not like what I would live and die on, the freedom of speech argument. You know, like in Germany, I think they banned the usage of swastika, which makes perfect sense. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Let's first and foremost, when it comes to the Confederate flag, it's hard to truly understand. Maybe this is just for me, but truly understand what the meaning of that flag is for everybody. I'm a northerner, so I have a northern education, right? I'm from New York. I have a northern education. We learned the South lost and they could suck it, Fortnite L in the face, right? It's easy to say that that flag represents slavery because it certainly does. But I've heard some Southerners talk about how to them, it represents more to them Southern pride, I guess, because, you know, pride in being a loser. All jokes aside, though, it's hard to like tell because there's different narratives depending on where you live, right? Now, me personally, I do think it represents slavery, but at the end of the day, while I do believe that this is well intentioned, I don't think that if we look at this from an outcome perspective, I don't see much of a positive outcome. You know, I think that like banning the flag, it's a nice symbol, but it doesn't really do anything for black people. Like realistically speaking, this doesn't do a goddamn thing for black people. And we tend to focus a lot on symbolism in the United States when it comes to reversing the systemic oppression. You know, for instance, like this would be like a symbolist type thing. We focus very much on things like implicit bias training. I know those sound like really nice things where it's like a win for black people, but it sounds more like a social win than an actual win, right? So, you know, realistically, what we should be doing rather than talking about this is we should talk about some form of reparations, something that will literally help black people rather than help them from like some kind of a symbolic perspective, right? You know, putting money into and power into, because money literally is power. We learned that money doesn't mean shit. Money means literally everything. There is a diminishing returns on money. I think it's like $80,000 a year average in the United States. That's the diminishing returns, right? They say that after that much money, not in New York because we're higher cost, but after that amount of money, you know, having a ton of money doesn't do anything. But considering the average, you know, I don't think most people live at that, you know, area. So money is massively impactful for most people. And I personally am not for racial reparations, right? I'm a big UBI guy. I'm a big guy of looking at the systems that are like failing us in the United States. Like the prison system is a failure. The drug system is a failure. The healthcare system is a failure. Even our wealth distribution is just emphatic failures. And if we embolden those things, if we created a better ground floor of poverty, you're going to see a ton more people. We're going to have higher quality of lives and better access to education. It's going to be phenomenal. There's so many systems that we have to, not even that, the school system is fucked up. There's a lot of things that we could really get into, right? So I'm not for racial reparations, but I do genuinely believe that these things will literally help black people, right? These will literally put money and power into the hands of black people. And it will even go as far as to give guns to black. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm somebody that believes that guns for American citizens stop the government from fucking with American citizens. So, you know, we have this phenomenal thing that we've done is that we've put black people in poverty in America, and then we were like, you're impoverished, so now you're going to cause more crime because you're doing it out of necessity. Oh, but now you're impoverished and causing more crime. You're too violent to have a gun. So you see all these very poor and violent areas where it's illegal to have guns, right? And it's like, but like somehow, right? Conveniently, those areas are black, so black people don't have guns, so the government doesn't have to be afraid of black people. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to focus our energy and our attention less on symbolic things and more on tangibility, like let's give more opportunity, right? Because realistically, and I'm an outcomes guy, the outcome of this is it's gonna, like, let's be honest, it's gonna piss off racists. Now you could say, like, Papa, like, we don't like racists. I don't particularly care for racists either, but it's just going to cause more of a divide, right? It's really just not the area. I wouldn't live and die on getting rid of a symbol. I would live and die on giving money to black people. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's well intentioned. I understand what he's saying. I just think, generally speaking, we really, really need to stop focusing on symbolism in the United States, and we need to focus heavily on real action. Okay, we need to kind of focus a little less away from like implicit bias training, right? People are like, oh, it's a great, like, it makes sense for police officers. I get it, but like the art, it really blows my mind. This is probably the one thing I really want you guys to like think about. It blows my mind that the narrative in the United States is white people are the oppressors, and that most of them are like some kind of active or passive racists, which I don't believe at all. But from like the woke leftists, this is the perspective. The perspective is that all white people are racist. So let's implement implicit bias training where white people need to educate themselves to be less racist. If you think white people are literal oppressors, why are you telling white people they have to learn to be less mean? I personally would say that's ridiculous to me. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I don't believe that all white people are oppressors. But what I'm saying is, if that's your belief, how the fuck are you going to be like, hey, I think all white people are oppressors. Now make yourselves less oppressive. Like, what? No, white people are the oppressors. Then why don't we give fucking power to black people? It just doesn't make any logical sense. You understand? So that's what I have to say about this. I'll try to get this up onto YouTube. But yeah, well-intentioned. I just don't think it's going to have the desired outcome, honestly. It sounds nice, though. It sounds like a nice thing. It sounds nice. It sounds nice, guys. It's a nice thing. But yeah, I think more than anything else, we need to get people to wrap their minds around advocating for real change more than anything else. We haven't really advocated. Because, like, think about it. Let's say we did this. Let's say we banned the Confederate flag. Let's say we did it. Let's say we banned the Confederate flag. We're going to feel like, as a country, that we actually did something. When we didn't do anything. It sounds nice, but we didn't do fucking anything. If we banned the flag, we went our energy on that. We didn't do a fucking thing. All we did was we pissed racists off, and we maybe made like the black activists or progressive activists for like Black lives. They'll feel like they got to win, but it didn't do fucking anything. I'm just saying, and like, again, I think this is really well intentioned. But I just don't think that it's what I don't think that it's just not, we need to focus on like advocating for true change. So